Kendrick Lamar Duckworth, born June 17, 1987, is an American rapper and songwriter, often regarded as one of the greatest rappers of all time. He is the only musician outside of the classical and jazz genres to be awarded the Pulitzer Prize for music. His inclusion of social commentary and political criticism in his songwriting has influenced a rise in social conscience within his generation. Lamar began releasing music under the stage name M.A.A.D while he was attending high school. He signed with Top Dog Entertainment, TD, in 2005, where he co-founded the hip-hop supergroup Black Hippy. Following the success of his alternative rap debut album Section .80, 2011, Lamar secured a joint contract with Dr. Dre's Aftermath Entertainment and Interscope Records. He rose to prominence with his gangsta rap-influenced second album Good Kid, Mad City, 2012, and its top 40 singles Swimming Pools, Drink, Poetic Justice and Bitch, Don't Kill My Vibe. It is the longest-charting hip-hop studio album on the Billboard 200, spending over 10 consecutive years on the chart. Inspired by a visit to South Africa, Lamar embraced jazz and G-funk styles on his third album, To Pimp a Butterfly, 2015. It became his first of 4 consecutive #1 albums in the U.S., and was one of the most critically acclaimed albums of the 2010s. Lamar's work on the remix of Taylor Swift's Bad Blood garnered his first #1 song on the Billboard Hot 100. His critical and commercial success continued with his R&B and pop-leaning fourth album Damn, 2017, yielding his second chart-topping single Humble. The double album Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, 2022, concluded Lamar's tenure with TD and Aftermath. His 2024 feud with Drake spawned the #1 songs Like That and Not Like Us. Lamar has received various accolades throughout his career, including 1 Primetime Emmy Award, 1 Brit Award, 4 American Music Awards, 6 Billboard Music Awards, 11 MTV Video Music Awards, including 2 Video of the Year wins, 17 Grammy Awards, the third most won by a rapper, and 29 BT Hip Hop Awards, the most won by any artist. Time listed him as one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2016. 2 of his concert tours, the Damn Tour, 2017 to 2018, and the Big Steppers Tour, 2022 to 2024, are amongst the highest-grossing rap tours in history. 3 of his works were included in Rolling Stone's 2020 revision of the 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. Outside of music, Lamar co-founded the creative company PG Lang and ventured into film with his creative partner, Dave Free. He has worked with various charities and advocates for racial equality and mental health awareness. Life and career. Early life. Kendrick Lamar Duckworth was born on June 17, 1987, in Compton, California. He is the first child of Kenneth Kenny Duckworth, a former gang hustler who previously worked at KFC, and Paula Oliver, a hairdresser who previously worked at McDonald's. Both of his parents are African Americans from the South Side of Chicago. When they were teenagers, they relocated to Compton in 1984. Due to his father's affiliation with the Gangster Disciples, Lamar was named after singer-songwriter Eddie Kendricks of The Temptations. He was an only child until the age of 7 and was described as a loner by his mother. Eventually, his parents had his 2 younger brothers and younger sister, businesswoman Kayla Sawyer, née Duckworth. His cousins include basketball player Nick Young and rapper Baby Keem. Lamar experienced the 1992 Los Angeles riots during his childhood. Lamar and his family lived in Section 8 housing, were reliant on welfare and food stamps, and experienced homelessness. Although he is not a member of a particular gang, he grew up with close affiliates of the West Side Pirates. Despite suffering hardships, Lamar remembered having good memories of his childhood that sparked his interest in hip-hop music, such as sneaking into his parents' house parties. He was raised secular, although he occasionally attended church services and was taught the Bible by his grandmother. He felt spiritually unsatisfied as a child due to the empty and one-sided nature of the sermons. After hearing a recording of his voice for the first time, Lamar became interested in rapping. He was introduced to police brutality after experiencing the first day of the 1992 Los Angeles riots. When he was 5 years old, he witnessed a murder for the first time while sitting outside of his apartment unit, as a teenage drug dealer was killed in a drive-by shooting. "It done, sick, something to me right then and there," Lamar later admitted to NPR Music. "It let me know that this is not only something that I'm looking at, but it's something that maybe I have to get used to." His parents nicknamed him Man due to his precocious behavior, although he confessed it put a stigma on the idea of me reacting as a kid. Sometimes I would hurt myself and they would expect me not to cry. In school, Lamar was a quiet and observant student who excelled academically and had a noticeable stutter. His first-grade teacher at Robert E. McNair Elementary School encouraged him to become a writer after she heard him correctly use the word audacity. As a seventh-grade student at Vanguard Learning Center, Lamar was introduced to poetry by his English teacher, Regis Inga. Inga integrated the literary form into his curriculum as a response to the growing racial tensions amongst his students. Through its connection to hip-hop, Lamar studied rhymes, metaphors and double entendres, which made him fall in love with songwriting. You can put all your feelings down on a sheet of paper, and they'd make sense to you. I liked that. Instead of completing assignments for other classes, Lamar would scribe lyrics in his notebooks. His initial writing was entirely profane, but it helped him manage his psychological trauma and depression, which he struggled with during his adolescence. Inga played a vital role in his intellectual growth, often critiquing his lexicon and suggesting prompts to strengthen his prose. Lamar later attended Centennial High School, where he failed physical education in the 9th grade. He was enrolled in summer school during the 10th grade, which he dreaded because it forced him to be embroiled in a gang war. Despite his efforts to avoid them, Lamar soon became heavily involved with Compton's hedonistic gang culture, which led to numerous gang violence experiences, health scares, and encounters with the police. He distanced himself from the lifestyle following an intervention staged by his father. When he was 16, he was baptized and converted to Christianity following the death of a friend. Lamar entered a lasting romantic relationship with his classmate, beautician Whitney Alford. They experienced numerous difficulties within their relationship due to Lamar's sex addiction and repeated infidelity. Lamar graduated from high school in 2006 as a straight-A student. He flirted with the idea of studying psychology and astronomy in college, but suspended his academic pursuits to focus on his music career. 2003 to 2008, career beginnings. Lamar began his career while he attended Centennial High School. During high school, Lamar adopted the stage name K. and began freestyling and battle rapping at school. His performances caught the attention of fellow student Dave Free, who traveled from Inglewood to watch him rap. They quickly formed a friendship over their love of hip-hop and the television sitcom Martin. They recorded music together at Free's makeshift garage studio and at his older brother's Hyde Park apartment. Lamar's earliest performances were held at a Superhood comedy club and behind a tattoo parlor. Free was his hype man during that time, while his older brother was his manager and disc jockey. Lamar recorded 5 mixtapes throughout the 2000s. His first, Youngest Head Nigga in Charge, Hub City Threat, Minor of the Year, was released during his senior year of high school. The mixtapes primarily consisted of freestyles over the production of popular hip-hop songs. In a series of retrospective reviews for Rolling Stone, Mosi Reeves complimented Lamar's unerring sense of rhythm and timing found in Hub City Threat, Minor of the Year, but criticized his overly beholden flow and clumsy lyricism. Free, who was working as a computer technician, introduced the mixtape to record producer Anthony Top Dog Tiffith while attempting to repair his computer. Tiffith was impressed with Lamar's burgeoning abilities and invited him to partake in an audition process for entry into his newly established independent record label, Top Dog Entertainment, TD. During his audition, Lamar freestyled for Tiffith and record executive Terrence Punch Henderson for 2 hours, a strategy that impressed Henderson but bewildered Tiffith. He was offered a recording contract by TD in 2005, joining J-Rock as the label's first signings. Upon signing, he purchased a minority stake in the label for an undisclosed amount. Lamar had a brief stint as a security guard when he started working on music with J-Rock at TD's in-house recording studio. The bond he formed with him, Absol and Schoolboy Q led to the formation of the hip-hop supergroup, Black Hippie. In 2006, Lamar signed an artist development deal with Def Jam Recordings and was featured on 2 singles by The Game. He also heavily contributed to J-Rock's first 2 mixtapes, What's Finest Volume 1 and What's Finest Volume 2, The Nickerson Files. Lamar was ultimately let go from Def Jam after an encounter with its president and chief executive officer, Jay-Z. He later described it as one of those situations where I wasn't ready. He released 2 projects in 2007, his second mixtape, Training Day, and a collaborative mixtape with J-Rock titled No Sleep Till NYC. Reeves complimented Training Day's varied production and well-executed concept based on the 2001 film of the same name. He described No Sleep Till NYC as a fun cypher session, nothing more, nothing less. 2009 to 2011, Overly Dedicated and Section .80. Lamar's third mixtape, C4, 2009, is a tribute project to Lil Wayne's The Carter 3, 2008, and was supported by his cosign. Reeves felt that the mixtape was a wrong-headed homage to a year-old, well-worn album. From February to July, he toured with The Game on his LAX tour as a hype man for J-Rock. Lamar disliked how his stage name diverted attention away from his true identity and decided to retire it. He opted to use his first and middle names professionally and regards the name change as part of his career growth. For his eponymous debut extended play, 2009, Lamar eschewed from the creative process of his mixtapes in favor of a project heavily focused on his songwriting over lovely yet doleful production. Reeves described the EP as the first standout project of his career, praising its melancholic tone. That he felt that the project restored his reputation following the sting of criticism he received over C4. Lamar performing at Sound Academy in 2011, prior to the release of Section .80. After striking a music publishing deal with Warner/Chappell Music, Lamar released his fourth mixtape, Overly Dedicated, 2010, to digital retailers for the first time in his career. He and Whitney Alford separated prior to its release. Reeves described Overly Dedicated as a partial victory lap that marked a shift in his songwriting. The mixtape peaked at number 72 on Billboard's top R&B/hip hop albums chart. Lamar served as J-Rock's hype man for a second time during Tech N9's Independent Grind tour, where Overly Dedicated was introduced to Dr. Dre. After watching the music video for the song Ignorance is Bliss on YouTube, he reached out to Lamar with hopes of working with him and Snoop Dogg on his unfinished album, Detox. He also considered signing him to his record label, Aftermath Entertainment, and was encouraged to buy artists such as J. Cole. Lamar entered a brief relationship with MC Nitty Scott and was featured on XXL's 2011 freshman class list. He released his debut studio album, Section .80, on July 2, 2011, which was supported by its lead single High Power. The album explored conscious and alternative hip-hop styles and experimented with stripped-down jazz production. Ogden Payne of Forbes considers it to be the genesis to Lamar, successfully balancing social commentary with mass appeal. Section .80 marked Lamar's first appearance on the Billboard 200 chart, where it peaked at number 113. It sold approximately 5,000 copies in its first week of tracking, with minimal coverage from mainstream media outlets. To promote the album, Lamar performed at small venues and college campuses across the U.S. He was dubbed the new king of the West Coast by Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and The Game during a performance in West Los Angeles. At the 2011 BET Hip Hop Awards, Section .80 was nominated for Best Mixtape. During the ceremony, Lamar appeared alongside B.O.B, Tech-9, Machine Gun Kelly, and Big Crit in a cypher. Throughout the year, he appeared on The Game's The Red Album, Tech N9 is All SIXS and Sevens, Ninth Wonder's The Wonder Years, and Drake's Take Care. 2012 to 2013, Good Kid, M.A.A.D City. Lamar performing at the Pitchfork Music Festival in 2012. Lamar began planning his second album before Section .80 was released. From February to April 2012, he opened for Drake on his Club Paradise tour. He began working with J. Cole on a collaborative album around that time, but nothing came to fruition. Cole later admitted that the two put it to bed years ago. On March 8, The Fader reported that Lamar had signed a joint venture recording contract with Aftermath Entertainment and Interscope Records. Under the deal, TD continued to serve as his primary label. His first commercial single, The Recipe featuring Dr. Dre, premiered on Rhythmic Crossover Radio on April 2. Good Kid, M.A.A.D City, Lamar's second album, was formally announced on June 26, 2012, with a tentative release date of October 2. Its lead single, Swimming Pools, Drink, peaked at number 17 on the Billboard Hot 100, marking his first top 20 single in the U.S. From September to October, he headlined the BT Music Matters Tour with Black Hippie and Stally. Lamar won Lyricist of the Year at the 2012 BET Hip Hop Awards, where he performed a mashup and appeared in a cypher. He was featured on ASAP Rocky's single Fuckin' Problems alongside Drake and 2 Chainz, which reached the top 10 in the U.S. Experiencing a 3-week delay, Good Kid, M.A.A.D City was ultimately released on October 22, 2012. Lamar worked with producers such as Pharrell Williams, Hit Boy, Scoop DeVille, Jack Splash, and T- to create an atmospheric West Coast hip-hop album with heavy gangsta rap influences. It was met with widespread critical acclaim, who lauded Lamar's non-linear songwriting and thematic scope. Greg Kot of the Chicago Tribune applauded him for giving gangsta tropes a twist, or sometimes upend, them completely on a record that brims with comedy, complexity, and the many voices in Lamar's head. Good Kid, M.A.A.D debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200, selling 242,000 copies. It earned the highest first-week album sales of the year by a male rapper. Its other singles, Backseat Freestyle, Poetic Justice, and Bitch, Don't Kill My Vibe, enjoyed moderate commercial success. Good Kid, M.A.A.D surpassed The Eminem Show, 2002, to become the longest-charting hip-hop studio album on the Billboard 200. In October 2022, the album became the first hip-hop studio album to spend over 10 consecutive years on the Billboard 200. Lamar performing at Melkweg in 2013. Lamar and Whitney Alford rekindled their romantic relationship following the release of Good Kid, M.A.A.D. He promoted the album throughout 2013 by appearing on television programs and embarking on 2 concert tours, a national college tour with Steve Aoki and his first international headlining tour. Lamar struggled with depression, survivor's guilt and suicidal ideation during promotional events upon learning of the deaths of 3 close friends. In an interview with MTV, he confessed that psychologically, it messes your brain up. You live in this life, you know what I'm saying, but you still have to face realities of this. I gotta get back off that tour bus and go to these funerals. From October to December 2013, Lamar opened for Kanye West on his Yeezus tour, despite disapproval from his label and management team that he was baptized for a second time during the beginning of the tour, and experienced a nervous breakdown near the end. Lamar won 3 awards during the 2013 BET Awards, where he performed a mashup of M.A.A.D and Bitch, Don't Kill My Vibe with Erykah Badu. The 2013 BET Hip Hop Awards. He performed a mashup of Collard Greens and Money Trees with Schoolboy Q and J-Rock, and was featured in a TD cypher. Lamar was named Rapper of the Year by GQ during their annual Men of the Year issue. Following the issue's release, Tiffith pulled him from performing at GQ's accompanying party and accused Steve Marsh's profile on him of containing racial overtones. Throughout 2013, Lamar was featured on 6 songs, YOLO by The Lonely Island featuring Adam Levine that premiered during his first appearance as a musical guest on Saturday Night Live, the remix of How Many Drinks by Miguel, Collard Greens by Schoolboy Q, Control with Big Sean and Jay Electronica, Give It To You by Robin Thicke featuring 2 Chainz, and Love Game by Eminem. His performance on Control was described as a wake-up call for the hip-hop industry and commenced his decade-long feud with Drake. Rolling Stone noted that his verse made the track one of the most important hip-hop songs of the last decade. 2014 to 2016, To Pimp a Butterfly and Untitled Unmastered. After his opening stint for the Yeezus tour ended, Lamar started working on his 3rd album. He earned 7 nominations at the 56th Annual Grammy Awards, January 2014, including Best New Artist, Best Rap Album, and Album of the Year for Good Kid, M.A.A.D. He was winless at the ceremony, which several media outlets felt was a snub. Macklemore, who won Best New Artist and Best Rap Album, shared a text message that he sent Lamar after the ceremony ended, in which he apologized for winning over him. The incident was the subject of widespread media attention, controversy, and internet memes. During the awards ceremony, Lamar performed a mashup of M.A.A.D and Radioactive with rock band Imagine Dragons, which was met with critical acclaim. Lamar opened for Eminem on the Rapture Tour from February to July 2014. On August 9, he premiered the short film M.A.A.D, which he starred in, commissioned and produced, during the Sundance Institute's Next Fest. He released I as the lead single to his 3rd album, To Pimp a Butterfly, on September 23, which won Best Rap Performance and Best Rap Song at the 57th Annual Grammy Awards. His performance of I during his 2nd appearance as a musical guest on Saturday Night Live was lauded by contemporary critics. Lamar was featured on 3 songs in 2014, It's On Again by Alicia Keys, Babylon by SZA, and Never Catch Me by Flying Lotus. He won Lyricist of the Year for the 2nd consecutive time at the 2014 BET Hip Hop Awards. Lamar at the Hollywood Palladium before the 57th Annual Grammy Awards, 2015, where he won Best Rap Performance and Best Rap Song for I. Originally scheduled to arrive at a later date, To Pimp a Butterfly was released on March 15, 2015. The album incorporated various genres synonymous with African American music, such as jazz, funk, and soul. To capture its essence, Lamar recruited producers such as Soundwave, Pharrell Williams, Terrace Martin, and Thundercat. Alford contributed background vocals on select tracks. Other singles from the album were The Blacker the Berry, King Kunta, All Right, and These Walls, all of which enjoyed Moderate commercial success, selling 324,000 copies in its first week, To Pimp a Butterfly became Lamar's first #1 album on the Billboard 200 and set Spotify's global first-day streaming record, 9.6 million. Billboard commented that 20 years ago, a conscious rap record wouldn't have penetrated the mainstream in the way Lamar did with To Pimp a Butterfly. His sense of timing is impeccable. In the midst of rampant cases of police brutality and racial tension across America, he spews raw, aggressive bard while possible cutting a rug. Pitchfork opined that the album forced critics to think deeply about music. In April 2015, Lamar and Alfred announced their engagement. He earned his first #1 single on the Hot 100 through the remix of singer-songwriter Taylor Swift's Bad Blood. It won Video of the Year and Best Collaboration at the 2015 MTV Video Music Awards, while the music video for Alright won Best Direction. Lamar later re-recorded his featured appearance on the Bad Blood remix in support of Swift's counteraction to her 2019 Masters dispute. He opened the 2015 BET Awards with a controversial performance of Alright and won Best Male Hip-Hop Artist. He also won 3 awards at the 2015 BET Hip-Hop Awards in support of To Pimp a Butterfly. Lamar embarked on the Kuntas Groove Sessions tour, which ran from October to November 2015 in select intimate venues across the U.S. For his work on the album and other collaborations throughout the year, Lamar earned 11 nominations at the 58th Annual Grammy Awards, the most by a rapper in a single night. He led the winners with 5 awards. To Pimp a Butterfly was named Best Rap Album, Alright won Best Rap Performance and Best Rap Song, These Walls won Best Rap/Song Performance, and Bad Blood won Best Music Video. During the ceremony, Lamar performed a critically acclaimed medley of The Blacker the Berry, Alright, and an untitled song that he revealed that the untitled track is from a chamber of material taken from the recording sessions of To Pimp a Butterfly that he was in love with, but were not included on the album due to sample clearances and deadlines. He previously performed untitled songs on The Colbert Report, December 2014, and The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, January 2016, after receiving a request from basketball player LeBron James to share the untitled works. Lamar released his first compilation album, Untitled Unmastered, on March 4, 2016. It contained 8 untitled, dated, unfinished, and entirely self-written tracks that were intended to be included on To Pimp a Butterfly, and continued the album's exploration of jazz, funk, soul, and avant-garde styles. Untitled Unmastered received critical acclaim and debuted atop the Billboard 200 with 178,000 album equivalent units, becoming Lamar's second consecutive #1 project. Throughout the year, he was featured on 4 commercially successful songs: Beyoncé's Freedom, Maroon 5's Don't Wanna Know, The Weeknd's Sidewalks, and Travis Scott's Goosebumps. 2017 to 2019, Damn and Black Panther, the album. Further information, criticism of Spotify section 2017-18, hate content and hateful conduct policy. Lamar on the Damn Tour, 2017. On March 1, 2017, during a joint cover story with Beck and Tom Waits for T, the New York Times Style magazine, Lamar confirmed that he was working on his 4th album. He released the promotional single The Heart Part 4 on March 23, before releasing the album's lead single Humble on March 30. The song debuted at #2 on the Hot 100 and reached the top spot in its second week of charting. It is Lamar's second single, and first as a lead artist, to top the Hot 100. His 4th album, Damn, was made available for pre-order on April 7 and was released on April 14. 3 days later, he headlined the first of 2 weekends of the Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival. Damn utilized a more mainstream musical palette than To Pimp a Butterfly, exploring R&B and pop elements. Production was primarily handled by Soundwave, DJ Dahi, Mike M.A.A.D, and Richie Rira. Rolling Stone described its sonics as a brilliant combination of the timeless and the modern, the old school and the next level. Damn became Lamar's most commercially successful album. It spent 4 non-consecutive weeks atop the Billboard 200, marking his 3rd consecutive #1 album, and debuted with 603,000 units sold. All of the album's 14 songs debuted on the Hot 100, including the top 20 singles Loyalty and Love. Lamar is the 5th act in history to chart at least 14 concurrent titles on the Hot 100. Damn was the 7th best-selling album of 2017 according to the International Federation of the Phonographic Industry, while Humble was the 6th best-selling single of the year. By June 2018, it became the first album by a rapper or solo artist to have every song featured earn a gold certification or higher from the Recording Industry Association of America. To support Damn, Lamar embarked on his first headlining arena tour, the Damn Tour, from July 2017 to July 2018. It grossed $62.7 million in worldwide revenue, becoming one of the highest-grossing hip-hop tours in history. At the 2017 MTV Video Music Awards, Lamar opened the ceremony with a performance of DNA and Humble. He later won 5 awards, including Best Hip-Hop Video, Best Direction, and Video of the Year for Humble. Lamar is the first artist to win Video of the Year for a video that they co-directed. Throughout the year, he was featured on the remix to Future's Mask Off, SCA's Doves in the Wind, and Rich the Kid's New Freezer. He won Best Male Hip-Hop Artist at the 2017 BET Awards, while Damn won Favorite Rap/Hip-Hop Album at the 2017 American Music Awards. A collector's edition of the album, which featured its track list in reverse order, was released in December. On January 4, 2018, Lamar and Tiffeth announced that they would be curating and executive producing the soundtrack album for the superhero film Black Panther. It was released on February 9 and was supported with 3 commercially successful singles, All the Stars, King's Dead, and Pray For Me. Lamar contributed lead and background vocals to every track on the album, regardless of credit, and produced on select songs. Music critics consider Black Panther, the album, to be a milestone achievement, giving praise towards its lyrics and cultural significance. It spent 2 consecutive weeks atop the Billboard 200. Lamar opened the 60th Annual Grammy Awards performing a medley with rock band U2, featuring narration by Dave Chappelle. He won 5 awards during ceremony. Damn was named Best Rap Album, Humble won Best Rap Performance, Best Rap Song, and Best Music Video, and Loyalty won Best Rap/Sun Performance. Damn won the Pulitzer Prize for Music on April 16, 2018, marking the first time a musical composition outside of the classical and jazz genres received the honor. The Pulitzer jury praised the album as a virtuosic song collection unified by its vernacular authenticity and rhythmic dynamism that offers affecting vignettes capturing the complexity of modern African American life. From May to June, Lamar co-headlined the championship tour with several TD artists. While on tour, he became embroiled in a public dispute with Tiffeth and Spotify regarding the streaming service's hate content and hateful conduct policy. Lamar was featured on 5 songs in 2018, Dedication by Nipsey Hussle, Mona Lisa by Lil Wayne, Tints by Anderson .Paak, and Wow Freestyle by J-Rock. He also executive produced the latter's album Redemption. At the 2018 American Music Awards, Black Panther. The album won Favorite Rap/Hip-Hop Album. Lamar made his television acting debut as a drug addict in the crime drama series Power, 2018. His performance was acclaimed by critics and earned him an NAACP Image Award nomination for Outstanding Guest Performance in a Comedy or Drama Series. After his 2 concert tours ended, Lamar entered a 4-year recording hiatus, although he contributed to Beyoncé's The Lion King, The Gift, Schoolboy Q's Crash Talk, and Sir's Chasing Summer, all 2019. He declined to perform at that year's Grammy and Academy Awards despite winning Best Rap Performance at the former ceremony and receiving a nomination for Best Original Song at the latter. As his publishing deal with Warner/Chappell Music was beginning to expire, he signed a long-term worldwide deal with Broadcast Music Incorporated in April. Lamar and Alfred welcomed their daughter, Uzi, on July 26, 2019. He continued to tour his work until November, after headlining the inaugural Day N Vegas Music Festival. He had plans to tour in 2020, but they were cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. 2020 to 2022, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. On March 5, 2020, Lamar and Dave Free launched the creative entity pglang, which was described at the time as a multilingual, artist-friendly service company. In October, he signed a worldwide administration agreement with Universal Music Publishing Group. Lamar announced through an August 2021 blog post that he was in the process of producing his final album under TD, confirming rumors that emerged last year that he would be leaving to focus on pglang. The following week, he appeared on Baby Keem's single Family Ties, which won Best Rap Performance at the 64th Annual Grammy Awards. Lamar made additional contributions to Baby Keem's album The Melodic Blue by providing background vocals and appearing on the song Range Brothers. In November, he held a theatrical exhibition of his musical eras during his second headlining performance at Day N Vegas, and featured on Terrace Martin's album Drones. He co-headlined the Super Bowl 56 halftime show alongside Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, 50 Cent, and Mary J. Blige on February 13, 2022, which won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Variety Special, Live. After releasing the promotional single The Heart Part 5, Lamar's fifth album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, was released on May 13, 2022. He and Alfred used the album's cover art to reveal the birth of their son, Enoch. The double album drew on jazz, R&B, trap, and soul influences. Alfred served as its primary narrator. It was widely acclaimed by critics, who applauded Lamar's vulnerable songwriting and scope. Every track from the album charted on the Hot 100. Its three singles, N95, Silent Hill, and Die Hard, debuted in the top 10, selling 295,000 units in its first week. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers became Lamar's fourth consecutive #1 album on the Billboard 200. It later became the first hip-hop album of 2022 to reach 1 billion streams on Spotify. In support of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, Lamar embarked on the Big Steppers Tour, which ran from July 2022 to March 2024. The tour grossed $110.9 million in worldwide revenue, becoming the highest-grossing rap tour ever at the time. Lamar wrote, co-directed, and executive produced the short film adaptation of the song We Cry Together, which was released worldwide in September 2022. An accompanying concert film for the tour, Kendrick Lamar Live, The Big Steppers Tour, was released in November 2022. Lamar won Favorite Male Hip-Hop Artist at the 2022 American Music Awards, and Favorite Hip-Hop Album for Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. He received 6 awards at the 2022 BET Hip Hop Awards, including Album of the Year. During the 65th Annual Grammy Awards, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers was named Best Rap Album, while The Heart Part 5 won Best Rap Performance and Best Rap Song. 2023, Present, Feud with Drake. Further information, Drake, Kendrick Lamar Feud Section 2023, Present, Re-Escalation. In May 2023, Lamar was featured on the standalone version of Beyoncé's single America Has a Problem and appeared on Baby Keem's single The Hillbillies. He won 4 awards at the 2023 BET Hip Hop Awards and set 4 records in the process. Lamar was featured in the documentary concert film Renaissance, a film by Beyoncé and executive-produced Baby Keem's short film adaptation of The Melodic Blue. He quietly shed his ties with Aftermath Entertainment and signed a new direct licensing agreement with Interscope. Lamar's conflict with Drake re-escalated in March 2024 with his surprise appearance on Future and Metro Boomin's track Like That. The song spent 3 consecutive weeks atop the Billboard Hot 100, becoming Lamar's third #1 single and his first song to debut at the top spot. From April to May, he released the Drake-aimed diss singles Euphoria, 6:16 in LA, Meet the Grahams, and Not Like Us, all of which were either positively received or acclaimed by critics. The latter installment marked the first rap song to lead the Hot 100 with a limited tracking week. A celebratory one-off concert, titled The Pop Out, Ken and Friends, was held on Juneteenth. Outside of music, Lamar will star in the animated biographical film Piece by Piece, 2024. He signed on to produce a comedy feature with Free, Trey Parker and Matt Stone for Paramount Pictures, which is slated to be released on July 4, 2025. Artistry. Influences. I was 8 years old when I first saw you. I couldn't describe how I felt at that moment. So many emotions. Full of excitement. Full of joy and eagerness. 20 years later, I understand exactly what that feeling was, inspired. The people that you touched on that small intersection changed lives forever. I told myself I wanted to be a voice for man one day. Whoever knew I was speaking out loud for you to listen. Lamar to Tupac Shakur on the 19th anniversary of his death. Tupac Shakur is Lamar's biggest influence, having impacted both his professional and personal lives. One of his earliest childhood memories is watching him and Dr. Dre film the second music video for their single California Love with his father at the Compton Swap Meet. Lamar has described himself as an offspring of Shakur's artistry and socio-political views. Although some publications regard him as the Shakur of his generation, he strives to maintain his individuality. Shakur's The Don Killuminati, The 7-Day Theory, 1996, The Notorious B.I.G.'s Life After Death, 1997, and DMX's It's Dark and Hell is Hot, 1998, influenced Lamar's artistic direction. I don't look at these albums like just music, it sounds like an actual film. He also listened and took influence from Mos Def and Snoop Dogg during his childhood, and said, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Eazy-E. 50 Cent's mixtape success inspired Lamar to become an independent artist, while his view on being categorized as a conscious rapper, yeah, I'm a conscious artist because I have a conscience, gave him a sense of perspective. prodigy of Mobb Deep was a key influence on Lamar's earlier mixtapes, while his rapping technique was stemmed from Lil Wayne and his longevity. Eminem and his album The Marshall Mathers LP, 2000, introduced him to songwriting elements, such as ad-libs, and impacted his aggressive approach to records such as Backseat Freestyle. He took inspiration from N.W.A.'s tenacity of representing his hometown with courage, honesty, and artistic brilliance. Various R&B and soul artists, including Marvin Gaye, the Isley Brothers, Michael Jackson, Teddy Pendergrass, M.A.A.D, and Anita Baker, have influenced Lamar. He performed with Prince, who impacted his vocal register, at Paisley Park to celebrate the release of the latter's 2014 albums Plectrum Electrum and Artificial Age, which GQ described as 5 minutes of brilliant insanity. To Pimp a Butterfly was influenced by the works of jazz trumpeter Miles Davis and funk collective Parliament Funkadelic. Musical style. The nature of Lamar's musical style has been described as anti-flamboyant, interior, and complex. He is rooted in West Coast hip-hop, and has continually reinvented his sound by branching out into other genres, due to his contributions to its audience growth. Through his appeal to mainstream listeners, music critics generally categorize Lamar as a progressive rap artist. He suggests that his music is genreless, explaining in a 2012 interview, "You really can't categorize my music. It's human music." Popdust opined that during the 2010s, a decade that was arguably defined by hip-hop, Lamar constantly pushed the boundaries of what the genre could be. Lamar did not care for music production during the beginning of his career. However, as he placed an emphasis on songwriting and making material that's universal, he grew more exacting and adventurous with his compositions. He is heavily involved with every aspect of his production process, including the mixing and mastering stages, and is known for working long hours in the recording studio. "You gotta be hands-on and know the different sounds and frequencies," Lamar explained to Variety. "What makes people move, what melodies stick with you, taking the higher octaves and the lower octaves and learning how to intertwine that in a certain frequency, how to manipulate sound to your advantage." Lamar chooses to work with a close-knit team of musicians, rather than constantly seek high-profile talent. He has been working with his longtime producer, Soundwave, since his 2009 self-titled EP. Kendrick Lamar marked a pivotal change in Lamar's artistry. Unlike his earlier mixtapes, which consisted of freestyles over CHR and urban radio singles, the EP incorporated melancholic and doleful original production that emphasized his lyrics. Austere jazz production was blended with alternative rap styles on Section .80, with instrumentals drawing from R&B, boom bap, psychedelia, and downtempo. Good Kid, M.A.A.D abandoned the tastes of contemporary hip-hop by exploring a subtle, atmospheric side of West Coast hip-hop and gangsta. Rap.to Pimp A. Butterfly is an amalgamation of genres synonymous with African American music, most prominently jazz, funk, and soul. It redefined jazz rap by highlighting improvisation and soloing rather than primarily using sampling. Minimalist arrangements are incorporated in Damn and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Damn appealed to mainstream listeners through its pop and R&B influenced production, while the scattered and distorted instrumentals of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers was designed to make listeners feel anxious and uncomfortable. Voice. Several media outlets consider Lamar to be the greatest and most important rapper of his generation. Billboard, Forbes, and Vibe named him the second greatest rapper of all time, behind Jay-Z. Described as a blazing technical rapper and relentless searcher by the New York Times, Lamar's limber, dexterous flow switches from derivative to generative metrics, while incorporating internal and multi-syllabic rhyme schemes. His rhymes are typically manipulated within common time, allowing him to subtly control his metrical phonology and suggest formal ambiguities similar to pop and rock repertoires. Some of his rhyme manipulations feature flexible new school styles evoking the 1990s, while others use rigid old school elements recalling the 1980s. Lamar frequently uses syncopation in his melodies to create contradictions between his lyrical content and rhythms. With Good Kid, M.A.A.D, he liberally plays with pronunciation, inflections, and delivery to mirror the album's emotional range. Lamar possesses a versatile tenor vocal range and a raspy, half-shout timbre, where his throat sounds dry and his mouth sounds wet. Andre 3000 was the first rapper that introduced him to singing sensibilities in hip-hop, and he writes melody-driven songs as practice for his rap albums. Lamar became comfortable with his vocals over time, to the point where he feels confident enough to create singing-based albums. Pitchfork noticed how his harmonies on To Pimp a Butterfly never made him sound alone throughout his desolate performance, comparing his vocal layering to standing in the middle, unnoticed, of a large quarrelsome crowd. Praised for his willingness to use his voice as an instrument, Lamar adopts different cadences, tones, modulations, and timbres to suggest conflicting personalities, paint distinct emotions, and communicate stories using characters and personas. His falsetto register, which he calls the ghetto falsetto, has been likened to Curtis Mayfield's. MTV writes that by manipulating his voice, Lamar calls back to a lineage that runs through James Brown's foundational work in the 1960s, 1970s psychedelia, Prince's sweaty phantasmagoria in the 1980s, and 1990s gangsta rap. He was ranked the 10th best solo singer of the 21st century by The Times in 2023. Advocacy and philanthropy. A supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement, Lamar is a vocal advocate for racial equality. He supported Frank Ocean when he came out via an open letter. After questioning the importance of voting, Lamar endorsed Barack Obama's presidential re-election campaign. He had a humanizing meeting with Obama in 2015, which was documented in a public service announcement in support of Mentor, the National Mentoring Partnership, and My Brother's Keeper Challenge. Lamar is also an advocate for mental health awareness, and has used his music to promote self-love and other mental health initiatives. He strongly dislikes Donald Trump and persistent conversations regarding him, believing it to be like beating a dead horse. He was critical of the U.S. Supreme Court's landmark decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Lamar has headlined charity concerts benefiting local and international nonprofit organizations. He donated to the American Red Cross in November 2012 to support victims of Hurricane Sandy. In December 2013, Lamar donated $50,000 to his alma mater, Centennial High School, in support of its music department. He embarked on a small concert tour in 2014 and donated all of the revenue to Habitat for Humanity and his hometown. In July 2017, Lamar purchased a wheelchair-accessible van for a quadriplegic fan. He has regularly performed at TD's annual holiday toy drive at Nickerson Gardens and organizes his own toy drive in Compton. In June 2020, he joined a peace walk to protest against the murders of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Achievements. Further information, list of awards and nominations received by Kendrick Lamar. Lamar left at the 2016 White House Independence Day celebration with President Barack Obama, center, and singer Janelle Monáe, right. Throughout his career, Lamar has won 17 Grammy Awards, the third most by a rapper in history, a Primetime Emmy Award, 4 American Music Awards, 29 BET Hip Hop Awards, the most won by any artist, 11 MTV Video Music Awards, including 2 Video of the Year wins, 6 Billboard Music Awards, and a Brit Award. As a songwriter, he has received nominations for an Academy Award and a Golden Globe Award. At the 58th Annual Grammy Awards, Lamar received the most Grammy nominations by a rapper in one night, with 11. During the 65th ceremony, he became the first artist from any genre to be nominated for Album of the Year, with 4 consecutive lead studio albums since Billy Joel, 1979 to 1983. Lamar has appeared in various power listings. In 2015, he was featured on Ebony's Power 100 list that honors leaders within the African American community. Time included him on its annual list of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2016. He has appeared on Forbes Celebrity 100 ranking, 2019, and its 30 Under 30 list twice in the music category. 2014 and 2018, Lamar was included twice in Billboard's lists of the greatest rappers of all time, 2015 and 2023. Complex named him the best rapper alive twice, 2013 and 2017, and included him in their list of the 20 best rappers in their 20s thrice, 2013, 2015, and 2016. In May 2015, Lamar was declared a generational icon by the California State Senate for his contributions to music and philanthropy. He was a Grand Marshal for the Compton Christmas Parade, and was presented with the key to the city of his hometown for representing its evolution. He served as Compton College's surprise commencement speaker on June 7, 2024. Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, and Damn were featured in Rolling Stone's industry-voted ranking of the 500 greatest albums of all time and the 200 greatest hip-hop albums of all time. Good Kid, Mad City was additionally featured in the magazine's list of the 100 best debut albums of all time, and was named the greatest concept album ever. It was named the 7th greatest album of all time by Apple Music in 2024. To Pimp a Butterfly was ranked by several publications as one of the greatest albums of the 2010s decade, while All Right was deemed the greatest hip-hop song of the streaming era by Spotify. As of February 2023, it is the top-ranked album on the online encyclopedia Rate Your Music. Damn is the recipient of the 2018 Pulitzer Prize for Music, the first time a musical work outside of the classical and jazz genres was honored. Its tour companion, along with Big Steppers Tour 2022 to 2024, are two of the highest-grossing hip-hop tours of all time.